You might ask yourself, why should I go on a mission trip? This was my 4th trip, so why do I keep coming back? Well, I come for the spiritual high. I have never in my life felt so connected to God the way I do on Ultimate Workout. Ultimate Workout is exactly what it sounds like. It's a workout, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. I think a spiritual workout is what everyone needs. I can honestly say that my first trip was definitely ultimate. I didn't really know what to expect, but a 22-hour bus ride through the rainforest and mountains of Nicaragua kind of caught me by surprise. When I got home, I thought, yes, I can't wait to go back to church and sing all our fun and upbeat songs. But that didn't happen. Instead, I got home, I went to church, and slipped back into my old routine. My church at that point was mostly made up of members that were a generation or two older than me. Sermons were boring, I completely forgot to read my Bible, and I only prayed when I really needed something.
Like Kia, this was also my 4th mission trip. However, my first was not an ultimate workout. It was an open team to Curacao, which I ended up comparing to Kia's ultimate workout experience. After my trip to Curacao, I started to go down a different road. I started to rebel and stray away from my family and friends. My dad noticed this and decided that my graduation present would be the Ultimate Workout 23 trip to Ecuador. When he told me what my present was, I was actually mad about it. I didn't want to go, and I argued every time he would bring it up to me. Finally, in June, he brought it up again in our shop. I got mad again, and he asked me why I didn't want to go, and I realized I didn't have a reason other than I don't want to go. So the argument ended with me throwing my hands up in the air and saying, "Fine, I will go, but I won't enjoy it." And I stormed off to the house. Finally, the day to leave to Ecuador came, and I realized, well, I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. I might as well go into this with an open mind. Little did I know that that trip would forever change my life and my view on mission trips. The worships had just the effect that Kia mentioned earlier, so much so that I was moved to tears every night at worship. The feeling is seriously unreal. Last year, I was 19, so I decided to do the Collegiate Project, which was in the Dominican Republic. I was still getting that spiritual high, but it wasn't anything like I had experienced on Ultimate Workout. However, I still remember the last Friday we were down there when I helped out with VBS. After lunch, we set out for Fidelidad. It was one of the poorest communities that I have ever seen. And of course, being a shoe person, the first thing I noticed and hit hard was their lack of proper shoes. That's when I was hit with the realization. We have so much here in the States and give nothing compared to them. They have little, next to nothing, and they give so much more than we do. That's when I decided that for my next mission trip, I was going to collect as many shoes as I could to bring with me.
While Kim went on the Collegiate Project in the Dominican Republic, my younger sister and I participated on Ultimate Workout again. This Ultimate Workout was amazing. There were over 300 volunteers. Let me tell you, if you really want to feel God's presence, go to worship and sing praise songs with 300 others. During worship, our pastor talked about a mountaintop. He was referring to this spiritual high and how to maintain that feeling after we go home. He mentioned reading the Bible and praying, but again, I didn't do either of those things regularly. He also mentioned local missions, though, local outreach projects such as volunteering at the soup kitchen or homeless shelter.
This year, I decided to go as a staff member on the Ultimate Workout along with Kia. There's something about Ultimate Workout that's different than the other trips. You form more connections, and I personally feel closer to God on these. I also decided to go through with my shoe idea. I at first thought, okay, this will just be through the church. I will be lucky to get one suitcase. Then I got the crazy idea to contact the student council advisor from the high school I graduated from. I asked if it could be a student council project, and she mentioned telling the principals, so I got in contact with the principal for the school to be a drop-off site. And he mentioned to put it on Facebook, put an article in our local paper, and a flyer on the school website. Then I went to the school to see where everything was going to be set up and finalize everything. And the student council mentioned having the elementary as a drop-off site as well. So my project was continuing to grow. And it doesn't end there. One day I was sitting on my couch, just lounging around watching Netflix like a typical day, when I got a call from an unknown number. I usually don't answer those, but this time I did, and I got a, "Hi, this is so-and-so from France and Bacon Trust in Oslo." I instantly thought it was a credit card, so I wanted to say, "Not interested." But they went on by saying, "We saw your article in the paper, and they offered to buy shoes from Old Navy when they had their summer sale." I got off the phone and was just so moved and excited that all I could do was cry. It was definitely a God moment. He took my seed and planted it far more than I thought possible. As we gathered all the shoes, of course we had to count them. Remember, my first thought was that I was only going to have one suitcase. Between the two towns in which the schools are located, the bank, and our home, we were able to get a total of 6 suitcases, equaling 372 pairs of flip-flops and Crocs, and more baby and toddler clothes than I had ever anticipated. It made me realize just how much 2 small communities and a church could be so giving. It was a miracle that we were able to acquire that many shoes. We had everything packed when my mom and I looked at each other and thought, how are these going to get down there? Thank goodness we knew one other person from Minnesota who was also going on the trip that was able to take a suitcase. So that took care of 5 of the 6. We had it planned where everyone would have 2 and I would have 3. But what would a mission trip be without a curveball thrown at you? We got to the airport that Monday morning only to realize there was an embargo situation that only allowed you 2 checked bags. So that left us leaving a bag behind for a friend to bring on the young adult project. Then the next miracle happened. When Kari and Rachel flew out 2 days later, they ran into some more participants from Minnesota. Thanks to the shirts Maranatha sends out, it was a miracle all 6 suitcases were able to make it. I decided to make it a group project with the Lost Obelisk team and include my sisters and Rachel on this since they helped me and it was our project. The distribution of the shoes was a complete success, even without any form of advertisement. God was working miracles without us even asking for them.
I knew a long time before Ultimate Workout 25 that I wanted to be baptized. I had thought about being baptized when I was younger, but I also wanted my baptism to have a meaning. At that point, I didn't fully understand the whole idea of being baptized, so it wasn't really a priority in my spiritual life. During Ultimate Workout 24 in the Dominican, I felt such a strong connection to God. I almost decided to get baptized, but I still held back for some reason. In the year between Ultimate Workout 24 and 25, I feel like I really grew spiritually. I actually looked forward to going to church, and I was disappointed when I missed church due to work. I definitely felt the urge to be baptized. My time in Panama was amazing. I had a few more challenges this year compared to previous trips. This trip was a major contributing factor to building my character. My patience was tested, and many tears were shed. Panama was an emotional workout for me, which caused me to turn not only to other Maranatha volunteers, but to God as well. By the end of the trip, I was so ready to be baptized, even though I knew that there was a little part of me that thought life would be easier. I thought life would all be downhill from there. I almost expected an immediate change. Maybe I'd wake up the next morning and all temptations would disappear. But it doesn't. Temptation's always there, but God is always there too, waiting for us to turn to Him. So in this troubled time, let's turn to God as we're nearing home.